Okay, good evening and welcome to FanTV Midweek Update. First off, here's Matt with the team news.
That's right, Dan. Team news this week. We haven't got any new injuries, so that's a plus. Sladek's still playing like a bit of a monster. Allegedly has a broken bone in his hand, but obviously his hand isn't quite as broken as Daniel Cross' helmet was. After we heard reports that from the Telford fans after Sunday's game that Daniel Cross' helmet had actually been broken by Joseph Sladek's hand, by his punch, sorry.
Wow, that's a hell of a monster punch, really. Also, we have some good news on Joe Graham, although you'll have to stay tuned for Matt's interview with Jon Kynaston to hear more about that. Now, on this interview, Matt, it's an interesting interview to listen to.
It is indeed, and we took the time to put some of the fans' questions to Jon. So yeah, here's how it went. Right, Jon Kynaston, thanks for speaking to us tonight. We've got a few questions that have been put forward from the fans, a couple from ourselves as well.
Okay. All right.
So just firstly of all, we'll take a couple that Paul has put forward. Paul Young.
Paul Young, okay, great.
Okay, so he wants to know, the Zedins, Glower and Luke Ferreira line, they've struggled to put points up as a line so far this season. Do you feel now it may be time to maybe try a few different combinations with that?
No, not at the moment. I think we've got a good balance on the three lines that we have. It's, you have to do lots of more things in hockey games and put points on the board, and I think for the most part they've done that. The plus-minus has been sound. Defensively they've been okay. They've been creating chances to score, and they will score because they're good hockey players. I think our third line is balanced right now. Second line's doing very, very well. So at the moment I don't see the need to change things up. I think points and goals will come and it'll be spread around the team at different times. As long as the team is scoring, that's okay. As long as everyone, as individuals and collectively as a line, they're plus minus in check, then we're okay.
Just wanted to know the power play. Again, not seeing a lot of success. Maybe that might be up for debate. How much improvisation is it that actually goes on with the power play, or is it what we see is that coached, or is that they have a lot of freedom there to make it up as they go along?
That's a good question. So power play, essentially a power play is constructed of two different things. There's structure and there's skills. So within the structure of any power play, the players have the freedom to express their skills, and it's normally the skills will always score. The structure's there to create the chances to score. I think our power play at the moment, we're running about 20%, which, believe it or not, is the average norm for a power play. When you look at special teams in context, you're looking to make 100% or more across your special teams. So if your PK is performing at 80% and your power play at 20, 100 is the average, and that's as long as you're not below the average. I think for a very, very good team, so a team that might be successful in terms of winning trophies, you might be kicking towards 105%. Right now, our PK is doing really well. Our power play, I think, if we're honest with ourselves, we've lacked energy on our power play. We haven't been aggressive enough. We haven't put enough energy in to outwork the penalty killers at times. We haven't outnumbered the puck enough in situations where we should do. And where we've had guys who haven't been scoring regularly, we haven't had guys willing enough to shoot what they may naturally shoot, and also those guys that would normally be our scorers on the team, they haven't been shooting straight off the pass, and that hasn't helped us. And we have created chances. At times we've lacked energy and we've let PKs outwork us. We need to work on that. And power play is a big part of the team. So is penalty killing. Quite happy with the penalty killing at the moment. We're around about 100% on our special teams. If we can get towards 103, 104%, we're doing well.
Excellent. Oh, very good news. Okay, a little question from Stevie40. He just wanted to know if we've got any more news on Joe Graham's injury.
Yeah, Joe skated on Tuesday of this week, so a couple of days ago. He's not quite ready, so he won't be playing this weekend. Outside chance for next weekend, and that's where he is at the moment.
One from Darren. How long do you think that we'll be able to hold on to the likes of Lewis Hook, Jordan Cowney and Declan Balmer as they improve?
I've only just got here, most of them. Lewis, well, we signed Lewis to a contract a couple of years back, so he'll be with us for a couple of years. And I'm really keen with the younger players that we develop them and they move on to where their career takes them at the right time, not the wrong time. So for me, the right time for a player is, if they're going to exit our league and go into the elite leagues, particularly say Lewis, for example, as a forward, you need to be going into the elite leagues as a top six forward, so you're going to go and play, not sit on the bench and become a role player. So, it's really important for those kids, when we look after them as individuals, that they understand it's a journey of a number of years in the EPL. You shouldn't be jumping out the EPL until you're playing regular special teams and putting points on the board to go in and be a top six forward. So that's the advice we'll be giving to Lewis, and he's capable of doing that, but that will take time. Jordan and Deck, obviously Jordan and Deck have just joined us this year, so they're getting a taste of EPL, and I think with all, particularly with Lewis and with Jordan, it's really tough for young kids who've been through junior hockey for so long, being so successful, offensively being so successful, to suddenly come into the man's game and have to learn how to play defence, because they just haven't done it for 10 years. So they're on a learning curve for me right now in terms of they have to be solid defensively before we can see their skills develop when they have the puck. So they're learning stuff all the time defensively. They're getting better at that, and as they become more proficient at that and they can do that more, then they'll see more ice time, and that will come very quickly for some of them. Deck obviously is a bit newer to the fold. I like Deck a lot as a kid and as a player. Been encouraging him to come down more. He's got a good little thing going on at Solway, so that's where he's going to stay for the majority of this season. And I'd like to think that maybe in a year or two's time that we'll see more of those kids, and maybe others from that setup.
He says there seems to be a team ethic on the team that maybe we haven't seen, maybe last season. Who do you feel then who are the leaders, particularly in the locker room, but also on the bench as well?
Well, Jeff's our captain. He's very much a leader as well off the ice. So definitely Jeff, James Ferrara. The experienced players that have been around the league a long time, like Z and Hutchie. Obviously, they're the guys that maybe step up a bit more in the locker room. But we've got a team full of people who want to contribute in that respect, which is great. And I think at times that shows. And we always actively encourage the fact that we've got togetherness and character, and we want to display a bit of passion at times and stick together when things are particularly down and things aren't working. We've got to stick together and not get on each other's backs. That's really important. And we'll continue to sponsor that, and hopefully we'll get some evidence of that when we get out on the ice, which I think at times we do. We need to get more of it on the road. I'd say we don't always display the same character on the road as we do at home, and we have to. That's an improvement point for us to stick together more as a team and show that on the road like we do at home.
Excellent. He did say that Damien King, obviously there was a lot of criticism about him being a starting netminder last year. How do you feel? He's obviously proven that he is capable of doing it. How do you feel his progress has shown so far?
He's done very well, and I think, listen, it's tough. It's kind of easier to introduce Lewis Hook on the wing, where he's less vulnerable to make mistakes that hurt your team. Now, how do you become a starting netminder in the EPL if no one puts you in the net? And I think all you can do with a guy like Damien is you've got to tell yourself he's got very, very good technical skills. His technical skills are superior to most of the netminders in the league. So you've got to give him a chance. And we were brave enough to give him a chance, and he's proven himself to be a good netminder, and I think he'll continue to do that. So sometimes as a coach and as a club, you've got to be brave to give people opportunities, and I think we've done that with Damien, and hopefully it's paying rewards both for the team and for Damien himself.
Excellent, and he's got very good skills when it comes to interviewing as well, as I'm sure people all know from Sunday. Just wanted to move on quickly. It's actually a question from myself. How are you finding the head coaching role this season?
I've been coaching a long time, so it's not really that different. I think for me it's about trying to get the team to play the way that we want them to play, and the way that we feel suits particularly our rink. And that's sometimes that can take a bit of time, and it's a bit difficult for some players to adjust, but I think slowly we'll get there. Of course I enjoy it. It's my club. I love the club. I'm passionate about the club, so to be influential within it is great for me, and I always do the best job I can for everyone that's around the club. I'll be giving my best whatever I'm doing.
John, thanks very much for speaking to us. That's all the questions we got.
Okay, welcome back. You're right, that was a very interesting interview to listen to, and it's pretty clear from that John's got a lot of faith in his team, and with the special teams as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the thing for me that came through the strongest, was that he knows exactly what every guy is there for. He obviously, you can tell that he built the team, and they are all playing as a team. It's a very strong emphasis, that it is a team and not just a group of individuals. And obviously, I think most people can see that out on the ice during game time.
Indeed. Okay, well, we hope to speak to John later on in the season, so please keep your questions coming. You can leave them on the forum for us at www.peterboroughphantoms.com, or you can email us as well, and the address is running across the bottom of the screen now. Okay, looking now at around the league, some other bits and bobs that have come up. Matt.
Yes, luckily not as crazy as last week's Magic Roundabout performance. Josh Bruce has left the Slough Jets last week and moved to the E&L Coventry Blaze.
Okay, On top of that, Joe Henry. We mentioned him briefly on Sunday. He has definitely been gassed by the Telford Tigers. Now, this may be a coincidence, but it must be noted there that the Tigers actually scored more against us after Joe Henry was gassed than they did before. Now, obviously, you may at home you may be seeing a connection with that. We personally couldn't possibly comment. Matt.
With that, yes, 2 more losses for Sheffield. Tom Squires has made the move from a 2-way contract with Hull to completely permanent 1-way contract. So obviously good for him, but we also heard announced as well that Sheffield have released Dimitri Zimostra as well.
Yeah, now, to be honest, that's kind of surprising. He wouldn't have been my first choice of player to release from Sheffield. And sorry, your starting goalie, yeah, he's not had a brilliant season so far. It's been up and down, but he's shown when Steel Dogs played us. He showed during the War of the Roses against Manchester Phoenix that he's an exceptionally good goalie. And a bad patch that both him and the entire team have gone through. And so the first thing they decided to do was release their goalie. Now I've got to say it. There's 5 other guys on the ice at any one time. And none of them have been gassed, but that's their decision. And the other thing is, it's really in an absolute contrast to Jon Kynaston's approach.
Yeah, it's the difference is black and white, Dan. It's one of those things that, you know, as you've seen in the interview with John, that he has absolute faith in Damo anyway, and he's grown into the number 1 role for the team. So you know that kind of shows what you can do with, you know, when you give an opportunity to a young guy to develop. And obviously, you know, it's sad for Zimostra to not have had the same opportunity. And like you say, it is unfortunate because I think his performances and his results have probably been more reflective of the team as a whole rather than himself.
Absolutely agree. Hopefully Dimo will find himself another team very quickly. He is too good to be sat on the bench, we have to be honest. Okay, moving on from there, we're now looking at the weekend to come. Peterborough Phantoms make the They make the trip and the visit. They make the visit and the trip to Altrincham to play the Manchester Phoenix on Saturday. Phoenix looking for a bit of revenge, maybe.
After the Halloween game, yeah, they've got to be. I think the best teams never sit around and hang their heads in a loss. You know, they get on with it, and you know, I would imagine that Manchester will be looking to do exactly that. Maybe, you know, put some punish us for probably you know, for going in there like kind of with that tally on our backs, but. I don't think there's any reason why Phantoms couldn't go to Manchester and run out without getting any points. So they certainly should be looking to get something from the game, but it will be a hard task. No illusions there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I suppose Phantoms being punished for not reading the script on that one. Never mind. And on Sunday, Peterborough Phantoms play host to the Swindon Wildcats. This will be the second meeting of the season. Last time Phantoms winning out 2-1 winners. Now, Wildcats coming off the back of their first blank weekend since September as well, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. Which obviously shows that they've had a fairly decent start to the season, and they're obviously not happy that they have got a blank weekend. So they will be looking to come out, I'm sure, and do something against us. So I think we need to be prepared for that. Obviously, you know, kind of they've got some good players on their team. You know, guys like Aaron Nell, you know, and Matthias Perkio as well, and Jonas Hoog. You know, they've all been putting up some good points, but I think the team have been playing quite solid, and you know, they've obviously just had a little bit of luck, you know, playing against teams like Guildford, who they beat on Halloween as well. So yeah, they have had some good results, probably similar to Phantoms, I would say, and I think that they will be looking to get back on form. So it'll be important for Phantoms to keep their heads in the game.
Okay, well there you go, that's a quick look forward to Sunday. We'll be here. Game starts at 5:30 here at Planet Ice in Bratton. Tickets as ever, £12 in advance from the box office here, or £13 on the door. That's it from us tonight. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night.